Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Cosmic Besties. This is your go-to space for deep and soulful conversations that feel like hanging out with your best girlfriends. I'm Kelly, and we've also got Christy here. And whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the mystical, this channel is really here to expand your mind, spark your intuition, and make the unknown feel a little bit more like home. So we want it to be your safe space to explore these topics right alongside us. So last time, if you checked out our video, we talked a little bit about vortex sites. And that was really about energy around the world. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about Reiki and it involves, energetics within us. So Christy, you want to kick us off with what is Reiki?
Yeah, so Reiki is an ancient healing module, originated from Japan. Dr. Usui is the one who supposedly channeled down all of this energy. You use specific like hand movements and hand placements throughout like your either your body or your client's body in order to kind of maneuver the energy around to either help with areas that feel congested or maybe depleted, adding more energy back in. So, a Reiki practitioner is somebody who is basically like a channel of this life force healing energy, which is Reiki. And you channel it through you, it goes out through your little palm chakras, and then you place them on your client or on yourself in certain areas to just promote like relaxation and healing. It's really good if you have insomnia or pain, anxiety. It can help with like a whole bunch of things. It's definitely not to take the place of like, modern medicine or a doctor, but I think using it together can be like a really powerful treatment.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago looking it up, and I learned that Rei is actually the Japanese word for meaning universal, and then Ki is the life force energy. So it was like universal life force energy. And I was like, oh, I really
Yeah.
like how that flows.
Yeah. I think like I actually did a meditation yesterday where I talked about this, but I to me, if you think of your body as like this flower pot and you're born with this perfect soil, which is exactly what your flower, your little body needs to grow. But then through time, through experiences or other people's energy, you're adding like pebbles along the way. And so what happens is that it's harder for your flower to bloom. It's harder for you to grow because things just get kind of like congested and blocked almost. So Reiki comes in and removes all of that congestion so that the energy is able to move freely through you and kind of help you heal in that way. So a lot of times, like if you have emotions like let's say anger is stored in your liver. So if you're having like fatty liver issues and you're not like a big drinker, or if you're just having like tummy issues, a lot of times it's connected to something emotional, something deeper that happened to you that you may not even realize, and you kind of stored that energy there. So Reiki is going to come in and release that and kind of allow clean that life force energy to come in and take over, so you're not just so, yeah, like blocked or congested. I know like a lot of Reiki masters don't like to use the word block, so I always say congested, but really it's like a block. Sorry.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And when I've described it to people too, I kind of describe it as going to get like acupuncture, but without the needles. Like it's the same premise that you're like kind of opening up the flow of energy in the body.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have different like energetic meridians that run through your body, and these seven like energy center points that are throughout your body have different things that they do for you. And I feel like it's hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around until they experience it, but it can be life-changing. It was definitely life-changing for me at least.
Agree with you. And actually, I first discovered Reiki with Christy like 25 years ago at this point, nearly. So we were down in St. Louis and we had stumbled into a little shop and we were just kind of browsing around and there was a woman there and I saw a sign that said Reiki sessions and I didn't know what they were, so I had asked her what they were and she's like, "Oh, I actually just had a cancellation. Do you want to try it out?" And at the time, I had been really struggling to um have like 100% good health. Like I was having a lot of ear, nose, and throat stuff, like chronic sinus infections, actually to a point where like the university health center thought I maybe had mono because I was so tired and stuff like that. Um, so I didn't really know what it was. I laid down on the like it's kind of like a massage table, but not really. You just lay there and there's calming music and I think she had some like candles, but it was a bright sunlit room and it was just really like relaxing. Um, and for her, she didn't do like the hands-on. So some Reiki practitioners will actually like touch your body. She was
Mhm.
just kind of like going above my body. And I remember, like my eyes were closed, but I remember when she did her hands over kind of like my sinus area, I could tangibly feel something like break up and like I could like breathe again. My throat wasn't hurting. It was the most insane experience that left me feeling like in awe.
Yeah. I think it's so cool. And like you can sometimes when I'm working on like a client, I'll be down at their feet and they're like, I swear you were like up at my head or up at my heart. I'm like, no, that's just the energy knows where to go because it's intuitive. So you must have had like this big concentration of energy like up here. Maybe it was almost like your third eye was blocked or your
Yeah.
crown. And so she just kind of like released that. And that's where you felt that literally that release from your sinus pressure.
Yeah, yeah, it was incredible. And I think like from that point, I was really curious about it. I started to read about it and obviously as a poor college student, I wasn't about to go pay to like learn how to do it, but afterwards, I went and actually started working with a teacher. So post college, post grad school, I started working with a teacher and I got my Reiki 1 attunement and I loved it. And then went and got my Reiki 2 attunement and then eventually um, got my attunement to be a master practitioner. So um, I yeah, I didn't just let that nugget of curiosity stop. I wanted to continue and learn how to do it myself because I figured if I could get so much benefit from that one occurrence, what if I could just do it regularly on myself?
Yeah, I think that that's like a very like common kind of feeling. I think that like if you are meant to be somebody who's going to be a channel for Reiki, you're just drawn to it. There's like no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
I got introduced to Reiki when I was 16. I had horrible anxiety to the point where like I couldn't leave my home. I would have panic attacks where I felt like I was going blind, like it would be like this tunnel vision closing in. I just did not have like a life like as a teenager. I couldn't do normal teenage things. Like I'd go on a date and I'd throw up on my date because I was so nervous. It was not normal anxiety. It was like full-blown panic attacks. And my mom and my dad had kind of tried everything. Like I'd done traditional therapy, and we were at the point where they were really wanting me to be on medication. And I just felt intuitively like it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Can be great for some people. For me, I just didn't feel like it was right. And so at that time, we were living in France and we had previously been living in England. And my mom's friend, who still lived in England, was going to this Reiki master. And she was like, hey, on your next break, bring Christy here and let's have her go to Sonia because nothing else is working and Reiki can't hurt her. So she might as well try it. So I remember like it was like the next month we had fall break and my mom took me. And just that 1 hour, I felt so light and so at peace and so safe that it completely changed my life. And so from then on, like Sonia, so what's really cool about Reiki, and this could be a whole other podcast, is that you can send it through distance. Like you don't have to be in the same room with a Reiki practitioner in order to receive the energy. So Sonia, anytime I was like feeling anxious or something would like kind of trigger my anxiety, Sonia would send me energy, which is really cool. So she did that all through high school, got me through my junior and senior year. Um, and then in, I think it was 2012, I had gone through a miscarriage and it was soul crushing and I was having a really hard time. So I went to a Reiki master and had a Reiki session. And again, I felt that feeling of being held and being loved and just feeling so at peace and so just like centered, that I decided that I wanted to learn how to do this for others. So I got certified in Reiki 1 and 2 in 2012. And then 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to be a Reiki master teacher. So I went and got my certification in that too. Um, and I just, it's hard because I think a lot of people are like, what is this? Like, how does this even work? And until you actually lay down on the table or have a virtual session with somebody, it's hard to kind of explain. But I think one of the things that we can do is, because we are all made of energy, if you guys want to join me, all you have to do is take your palms, your hands, and you're going to start rubbing them together. So everybody do this. And Kelly, you can do it too if you want. So just start rubbing your hands together, and I want you to, through your mind's eye, to imagine this portal of energy that's above your crown, so above the top of your head. It can be white, it can be gold. I sometimes change my colors around. It doesn't really matter. Just start imagining this energy growing at the top of your crown. And then I want you to imagine your head opening and allowing this energy to flow through your crown, go past your third eye, down your throat, into your heart, being amplified by your heart energy and going out into your palms. And I want you to send an intention down through this energy. So maybe you want to feel less anxious. Maybe you had a really bad night's sleep and you want to feel well rested. Whatever it is, send that energy, send that intention down through your energy now. Imagining the color coming through your palms. And now slowly begin to move your palms apart. Do you feel kind of like that vibration? Move your palms apart even farther. And now bring them closer together. It should feel, to me, it feels almost as if there's like a magnet, like opposing magnets where you can't, like it's almost like there's energy there. Like you can't push your palms together easily. There's something in the middle. Do you guys feel that? So that's your energy. So when you're doing a session with a Reiki master, what she's doing is she's channeling that, or like a Reiki 1, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're channeling that energy, that clean life force energy, along with your intention. And then you're going to place it on different parts of your body that need healing or love or just a little bit extra energy.
I love that.
Yeah, kind of fun.
So if that wasn't enough to entice you to go try it, I'm going to share a very personal story about doing Reiki that has made me want to actually, start doing it for other people as well. So, um, my daughter was about a year and a half when she was experiencing these absence seizures. So she would kind of get to a spot, she would like toddle over, and then she would just like go blank, and people couldn't connect with her through talking or through any type of interaction. And sometimes it would last like 30 seconds, sometimes it would be almost like 2 minutes, which was like really scary for us as parents and for her teachers and stuff too at preschool or daycare. Um, so we took her into a neurologist and they said, we can't really, we did like an EEG and stuff like that, and we didn't really walk away with any answers. And so they suggested that we come in to the hospital for a continuous 2 night, like overnight, continuous EEG. So she would have like the little electrodes hooked up to her for those 72 hours or something like that, somewhere between 48 and 72 hours. Um, and I was really nervous about that because I was like, okay, well, what else could come of this? Like it could be one of a bajillion different things. So I decided, well, I had already become certified or attuned in Reiki, like why not actually do it on her? I to date before that I had really just been doing it on myself. Um, and so I did Reiki on her every single day, for I think it was like 32 or 33 days until the inpatient stay. And during that time period where I was doing Reiki on her every single day, she did not have a single absence seizure. And when we brought her into the hospital and we stayed overnight for those couple nights, they didn't clock any seizures. And from that point forward, she's never had any seizures to date. So whether it was my Reiki energy or the placebo effect, I really don't care. As a mama, you just want your kids to be in good health. So, but I truly believe it was the Reiki energy, and she's better off because of it, I think.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I mean, I've seen miraculous things happen through Reiki. There is something to be said about setting that intention and sending it through, whether it's through love from a mom or just, through doing it through yourself. There's something powerful behind that. And I 100% believe that the Reiki helped clear whatever it was that was maybe causing her to have seizures. I had a similar experience with my son. He got really, really sick, and I guess I don't even remember when it was. He was 4, so, quite a few years ago, like 4 years ago. No, more than that, like 6 years ago. But his left lung had, like, partially collapsed, from pneumonia, and he was really, really sick, and we had to take the ambulance down to the hospital. It was very traumatic. And the same thing, like when they were trying to kind of get his oxygen levels to stabilize, like I was sending him Reiki, and within 2 days, like he was out of the hospital, and it was like you couldn't even imagine this little boy had been so sick just a couple of days ago. And I remember his pediatrician told me that his recovery was miraculous. And I remember thinking like, no, it's not miraculous, it's Reiki.
Yeah, yeah, I know. My last story that I'll share, I like, and it just makes me chuckle a little bit. So I had a really scary thing happen for any woman. I had been doing a self-check or a self-exam, and I found a lump in my breast that was about the size of what I would call like a large grape. And I went in to see my PCP, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, you've got something there. We should probably send you in for an ultrasound, and you should go see like radiology, and let's get this figured out." And that's not what you want, not confirmation that you want. I wanted her to be like, "Nah, you were just doing it wrong or something." Um, so again, there's always that kind of wait period between when you see your PCP and when you can actually get in to see a specialist. So I had the appointment booked, and I was doing Reiki on myself every single day, and by the time I got in there, um, there was nothing left. And the radiologist was so irritated and was like, "These stupid PCPs don't know what they're talking about." And I was like sitting there in my head thinking, "No, they do, but you just don't know about the Reiki." And he didn't
Yeah.
seem like the most open-minded individual and was slightly cranky that day, so I didn't share what made it go away. But um to me, that was another powerful validation of what is possible.
Yeah. I think that's like it's like a miracle. I don't know how else to explain it other than you just sent yourself so much healing energy and so much love with that intention behind it that um your lump went away. Like that's really incredible. Like if anybody is a skeptic, I mean, I would love to know how they would explain that.
Yeah. It's really interesting too when you think about like why. So there's all kinds of speculation about like the spiritual or like emotional cause of certain diseases or
Mm.
things in our body. And when there's often something wrong with like the breast area, they say it's like a lack of nurturance for ourselves.
Mm.
And we as women have this like lack of nurturance for ourselves, and that's how some of that stuff can be triggered. And so if you think about it, doing Reiki on yourself is like the absolute opposite of that. It's
Yeah.
just direct nurturing of yourself, giving you that love, and that light for a regular period of time. So that to me just again makes so much sense, at least in my head.
Yeah, no, I totally believe that. It's like the ultimate act of self-love for yourself.
And then
Uh,
the coolest thing is now, like, fast forward, we're in 2025 and Reiki is going mainstream. So when you look at some of the biggest medical institutions, most popular, most respected medical institutions around the US, like Reiki is actually practiced in the Cleveland Clinic, in Mayo Clinic. It's a complementary part of, the experience when you're a patient there. So I think it's really cool that more and more people are coming around to Reiki and what's possible.
yeah. I also think like it's interesting if you like they do those experiments. Like I think we talked about this before, like the sympathetic resonance like with the sound therapy. So if that is true, if a higher vibration of like sound frequency can raise a lower vibration to match it, to me it makes sense that Reiki is the highest form of light and love, that's going to raise any sort of lower vibrations to match. So if there's something inside of you that is just not vibrating optimally, if you're sending in this higher vibration, it's going to raise it naturally. And I know like the people who are like the science brains are like, what is she talking about? But to me, it totally makes sense.
Mhm. When you know, you know.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about some of the things that Reiki can be beneficial for.
Yeah.
So I think Reiki is really great for, like I said, like insomnia, depression, anxiety, pain. I do Reiki on my mom. She has like this sciatic nerve and like this, I don't really know how to explain it because I'm not a doctor, but there's something going on with like the nerves in her back and it causes like this debilitating, like shooting pain down her leg. So she'll come to me and we'll do Reiki and I literally can see like I remember when she was trying to figure it out and I saw it was like her nerve is like crushed and it feels like it's like almost like wrapped around something. So I like literally like imagined unwrapping this energy and pulling it straight. Um, and then we send love back to her past too, because she had some trauma that was caused by like her mother passing too young. And she swears like by that, like her pain is gone. And she was going to a chiropractor, she was going to specialist. She was actually at the point where she was in so much pain that she was thinking about getting like shots into this area to try and like lessen the pain. And that's totally gone now through Reiki. So
Uh,
I think it's really great for pain management too. Like again, like not to take the place of like modern medicine and doctors, but I think using it, you know, like co-creating it, whatever. What is that word? Like what word am I thinking of?
Complimentary?
Yeah, I guess like doing it side by side. So you have like your doctor that you see, and then you also see like your energy practitioner. I think you're going to see results faster and maybe even like that deeper healing because you're healing at like a soul level. Like energetically, you're going to be healing, you're healing on a soul level, and that in turn is going to kind of facilitate healing in a physical level. And don't sue me. Like I don't want to get sued for saying stuff like this. Like obviously, like use your own, your own mind to make up your mind for what you're going to do. But I think that if like you're going to treatments and things aren't working, adding it in to also go side by side with what you're doing, I think that you can see more results that way.
Yeah, yeah. I
Don't
agree.
don't come for me though. Don't sue me. But
I agree with
But
everything
that's
you just
just my own
said.
experience. I mean, my mom has no more pain and she was like at her wit's end. So I swear by it.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard both of our different like personal testimonials being on the receiving side, but also being on the giving side. But as Chrissy said, like better sleep, like more energy, better like blood circulation, like all of those are very much possible after experiencing Reiki. I
Mhm.
feel like I was reading about they're doing more and more research, like scientific research on it too. And so um there was some different studies done about like the outcomes and I think I want to say it was like a survey of 99 or 100 different Reiki practitioners where they were surveying the Reiki practitioners to assess before and after if they think it helped their patients. And then they also asked the patients the same thing. And I think the results were that like everyone was feeling like that there were improvements. And like some of the tangible things people were reporting were, like you said, Christy, like improvements in like mood or less anxiety, less nausea or better breathing if they were experiencing some of those kinds of issues. And so, yeah, I honestly think the future of medicine is all going to be tied back to energetics and frequency.
Yeah. I saw too recently, I think somebody posted about it today even, which I know like I don't know what journal of medicine it's from, but they posted scans of the brain and it was like the brain before doing like kind of that deep healing that we're talking about, like Reiki or other forms of like energy healing, and then a scan of the brain afterwards. And what they found was that there actually were like your brain was creating new neural pathways and new connections, which I think is really cool. So I wonder if that's like, if there's a component between that and like pain too or anxiety. I mean, if you're creating these new neural pathways.
We know that neural pathways influence so much of how we experience the world as like when we're little, if we're consistently validated for, doing things, being a helper, helping people out, like that creates a little bit of those neural pathways around like achievement or people pleasing and stuff like that, which could be a whole nother topic. I do a ton of
Yeah.
coaching around that, but yeah, I love that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. And we did. So my husband owns a construction company, and one of the things he does is like if somebody's roof is leaking, he has this little like flare gun that he takes with him to find the leak. And what it does is it's like a heat sensor. And so the area of the ceiling that is cooler is like the area where the leak is. So I asked him one time, I was like, hey, I was like, can we do a little experiment? Um, Gosh, my sweet Virgo husband, he's like this crazy California wife. But I was like, can we do a little experiment with your flare gun with my palms when I'm sending Reiki out? So we did. And what we found, it was really, he was even like my very like logical, practical husband was like, holy cow, like what's happening? You could see the heat rising, like the temperature gauge was like going up and up and up as I was sending more and more Reiki. What was really cool is like when you saw like the colors of my palm, the very center was this white heart.
Oh, and that's your
That is cool.
sign.
Yeah, that is my sign. But I also think that like, it's this universal love. So of course it's a heart. But I'll have to find that because he took a video. We might need to do another one because you could like see my bra and stuff through it because it's like an infrared. So maybe I'll like wrap something around me. But and then I'll share it. But it's cool. You can see like the temperature rising as I'm sending the Reiki energy out.
You just
Um
have to hold your hand out here away from the rest of your body.
yeah, duh, that's so much easier. Why didn't think about that? But yeah, we'll do that. We'll have fun. Maybe when you come to visit, we can do it together and we'll see like how like all of like I bet the temperature goes way up because we'll be together.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be really interesting.
Fill the whole room with Reiki love.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't tried Reiki yet, and if we haven't made you want to try it through this conversation, then Reiki
And
is
you're in the wrong podcast.
Reiki is probably not for you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you feel called to try it, go try it. And if you feel called to learn it, like we're hoping this podcast also attracts some of the soon to be healers that are so needed in this world right now.
Oh my gosh, so needed. World needs a giant hug. Oh.
Well, stay tuned for a future session where we may do a little mini Reiki meditation for all of you.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to do. I mean, we could do one where you're sending Reiki to yourself or we're sending Reiki to you. Because remember, like, there's that distance symbol. We're able to send it across time and space. But I also think it would be cool, Kelly, I know you do this a lot and I do it too, the calling back your power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like throughout the day, you're constantly leaking energy. When you turn your computer on or when you go through social media or just even standing in line, like other people's energy is attaching to you, and your energy is also being leaked out. So there's a cool Reiki meditation that you can do to kind of call back that power and call back that energy to you. And it's great to do before bed because you will sleep like a log. You'll sleep so well.
I love it. And speaking of things sucking your power, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a little piece of shungite on my phone. I have it on all of my devices that have Wi-Fi. And shungite is a crystal that has properties that can actually absorb some of that radiation. And similar to Christy, we like to test things too. We're a household of little scientists. And so we were testing the devices and the radiation or frequency they were giving off without the shungite and then with the shungite. And let's just say we had some very satisfied little scientists in our house.
That's so crazy. Okay, you'll have to maybe add a link so we can all go get one because I don't have one and now I want one because I'm on my phone all the time for work.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I will we'll have to figure
Gosh,
out,
our poor brains. Like,
you
what's the
know.
radiation doing? I wonder if we're gonna see like an uprise in like brain cancer and stuff just through our cell phones. Again, this is like tangents. I could talk forever, but
I know. Well, I won't even tell you to go down that rabbit hole. There's already been research on what it's doing to our brains, and it's not great. So, we'll do a quick public service announcement.
yeah,
Not only should you get shungite to put on your devices, like I have one on each of my laptops, on my phone, but the wireless earbuds and headphones that you all use are actually not great for you either because it's putting it right next to your head. So
yeah.
it's time to go back to the old school ones that plug into your phone. So I try to use those actually a lot more frequently now.
Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? I was reading, not I guess reading, listening to a bunch of audiobooks. Like I went, that was like a theme of the winter, and my phone warned me about that. It was like you've had your little cancer causing earbuds in too long, Christy. Like you
Yeah.
can take them out. Isn't that crazy? Kind of
Yeah, I
scary.
mean, I think that's it's the double-edged sword of like technology, right? Like while certain things get better, it can also have a really negative impact either on our bodies or the environment and stuff. So,
Yeah. Okay, so we all need to go buy that little crystal to put on our phones and our devices. Maybe at night, turn your Wi-Fi off, do
oh yeah,
Reiki. We'll all feel zened out and balanced afterwards.
100%. I do not sleep with Wi-Fi on. Any
Yeah.
Wi-Fi devices should either be out of your room or you should turn Wi-Fi off. So,
Yeah. There's somebody that I follow, another Reiki master on Instagram, and she said in her, which I think is so cool, in her like room that she does Reiki, she has like no Wi-Fi at all. Like she's got like a blocker up so that it's just this really clean, healing energy. So that's my goal someday is to have like a space like that because I bet like her clients leave feeling so just peaceful and renewed because we are
I
like
never want to
bombarded by
leave.
that.
I never would.
I wouldn't either. I think that's why sometimes like I can tell if I've been like working on my phone a lot or just like on social media, like, promoting my business or whatever more than often. It's like my body is drawn to being outside and it's like I have to go take a walk in the woods or go sit outside in my grass. And I think it's like that those negative ions, like my body just like needs it to release like all of the crap that's coming from our technology.
Yeah. I know that this is gonna sound really crazy, but if you have a day where you are on your phone a whole bunch like that,
Mhm.
if you go outside and you hug a tree for like 30 seconds, and I mean legitimately like hug the tree, but you're like putting your whole body around it, the tree can actually absorb so much of that for you. It's like putting a piece of shungite on a cell phone. That's same thing as like us hugging a tree.
Oh, okay, and then that's free. So if you don't feel like if you right now budget is not, not in the budget for you, go to a park and hug a tree.
People
So
might give you weird looks, but it's worth it.
yeah, who cares? Like, I mean, everyone's in their own world anyway, so just go hug that tree.
All right. So who knows what topic we'll have next for you? Maybe it'll be that Reiki meditation. Maybe it'll be about crystals. Who knows? But
Yeah.
if you have requests, feel free to drop it in the comments for us.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.